Hi guys! With my documentary taking up a lot of my time, and it being Christmas season, I have done practically no exploration and adventure videos, the stuff I usually do. I haven't really done anything in like 2 to 3 months. So the itching's back, and I'm about to catch a Max, maybe another bus, heading over to the west side. Steve the Amateur Historian. I am off the bus. I'm in Lake Oswego. I haven't been here for a while. The reason I'm in Lake Oswego right now is I'm going to bring you a fun little story. A story about crime, corruption, abduction. A story that begins, unfortunately, as many tragic stories do, but doesn't quite end the way that you'd expect it. Anyway, welcome to Lake Oswego. Thank you kindly. The city's always so nice to me. Not the people, just the city itself. The aesthetic of the city. But I'm heading up to what is probably my most favorite park in the Portland area, which is Tryon Creek State Park. It's huge. You start up high and you dip into the middle of the park where the creek is. And once you get to that point, you feel like you're in the middle of the wilderness. It's so peaceful. However, the fact that the park has somewhat of a reclusive, secluded vibe to it can also make it seemingly, potentially, a dangerous place to be. It's also apparently haunted, from what I've gathered. But I'm going to get to all that in a moment. We are, granted it's winter time, so things are a lot more sparse, but we are into the gorgeous confines of Tryon Creek State Park. It's huge. It takes up like almost the top upper like quarter of the whole town of Lake Oswego, and it kind of tracks along the border of Southwest Portland. Like Southwest Portland's literally right over there. And it's just huge. And it's like this everywhere. Unbelievable. And yeah, this off the trail, check this out. Nests for solitary bees. So these are bees that like don't, and they each individually like go up into these little holes, it seems. That's crazy. I mean, and after walking a very nice stretch of trail for about 15-20 minutes, we're officially arriving at the entry of the park. Entry road is right over there and it wraps around. There's a nature center here that for some reason never seems to be open. I think that's just my bad timing. So before we get to the crux of this video, which takes place back over here by where the parking is, I want to show you around this magnificent, massive park. This is all park over here. Even those hills over there, that's like the fringe of the park. And there's trails that just go everywhere. And as I mentioned before, this place has a haunted history. And it's interesting that that would come up as I approach the North Horse Loop. There are equestrian trails all over the place, and they're still used. You can tell because you find the horse droppings periodically. And according to lore, I don't know how many people have actually experienced this, but this used to be, I mean, to nobody's shock, this used to be logging territory. And apparently the ghosts of loggers who met with some sort of tragic demise, they apparently you can hear them talking. When I looked it up, they said you can hear the voices of dismembered men out here, and it's presumed that they're men that used to log out here. But beyond that, you can also apparently hear the sounds of like ghost horses, like whining and neighing and things like that. I've never personally heard that, but that's the story. time-lapse time. As we walk, you may hear some squawking voices over there. Yes, I thought maybe they were ghostly spirits, but as it turns out, just some kids helping do some like maintenance over here. And here we are. This is one of my most favorite things here. It's the Terry Riley Bridge. It's a really beat up drawbridge, but I actually used it in a film I did called The Runner. There's a scene we filmed here, and what I remember was the talking happens kind of here, and I had my camera set up on the far end of the bridge, not realizing that this, see how that's held down? When we filmed here, that side was not down and it was flopping. I almost busted my camera being an idiot. A little squeaky. Fortunately not too far to fall. But yeah. This is still not held down very well, but at least they've done some work on it since then. This metal bar was not here when I filmed, and you can see that it's still like, this is not a super sturdy bridge, but nevertheless, I love it. It passed. I am such an idiot. But hey, you know, lots of people, kids mainly, gonna try to run across that bridge. I'm only looking out for the kids, you know. And as we come down to the lowest point in the park, around the foliage, we start seeing signs of Tryon Creek as it kind of rolls through here and just kind of continues that way and that way. So we're pretty much at one of the lowest points in the park right here. Searching for an iconic spot. Oh yeah, there. I recognize the manhole cover, the random manhole cover. I used to be able to go through here, but now it's under restoration, so I'm not going to be a dick and trounce here. But this used to be a lot more open, and there's a cliff's edge right there, and the creek is just below with a little shore on the other side. Now, there actually is a neighborhood in southwest Portland, just a little ways up there, that's known as John's Landing. Few people know the high school history that I have, and that there's a second John's Landing, and it's here in Tryon Creek State Park, right here. So as the story goes, I had a buddy in high school named Big John, and he was named that because he was like 6'5", really lanky. And like I said, we used to come out here for cross-country practices, and he was on the cross-country team. And one day, I wasn't here for this, but one day, while the team was out running, they stopped and stepped out to this edge, and there's, you know, several foot drop to the creek, and there's a shore across the way. And apparently, Big John either took it on himself or was dared to try to jump off that little cliff and land on the other side. John's Landing. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I'm assuming he got a little messed up trying to do that. But yeah, if you go down this trail, you're actually going to go right towards the parking lot, which is actually a great place to start the crux of this video. The main reason I'm here is to discuss a very interesting story that happened in 2002 during the early summer. There was a 16-year-old girl named Sarah Roberts who lived here in Lake Oswego. I think she was about to become either a sophomore, but I think she was about to become a junior at Lake Oswego High School. And one day, she took the family dogs to this park, you know, because it's such a big park. It's a great place to walk your dogs. I actually just walked by a guy walking his dogs. And Sarah pulled into the lot. There's a lot kind of through there, and then you wrap around and there's more of a lot here, so there's a lot of parking. She parked somewhere in this vicinity in this lot, and next thing you know, some time passes and nobody knows what happened to Sarah. She took the dogs here, parked somewhere around here. There's parking here, parking over there. And then her vehicle was discovered with the two family dogs inside. Like, I think that was how the vehicle was first found, was the dogs were barking and scratching, you know, because they'd been left in this car for so long. And I believe a piece of a broken necklace was found right at the scene, and it seemed pretty clear that somewhere in this parking area, someone had grabbed Sarah Roberts and kidnapped her. So the whole Portland area goes into mass panic. This is summer 2002. This is the same year that Ashley Pond and Miranda Gaddis vanished from Oregon City. I have a video called Forgotten Innocence on my channel if you want to look more into that. They disappeared. Ashley disappeared in January. Miranda disappeared in March. And at this point, early summer, these girls are still missing. So there's already unending drama with that. And here we are, it's early summer, and now this 16-year-old girl goes missing. So almost immediately, this becomes a big case. Immediately, the police, a mass police search, you know, all hands on deck. Numerous followers or volunteers got involved with the case, and like within like only a day, they'd already invested like some $50,000 into trying to figure out where Sarah Roberts was. They did not want another Ashley Pond, Miranda Gaddis thing happening. After about a day or so, a little more than a day, suddenly everything's called off. The search is done. Now, why in such a immediate panic would the whole search finally stop? Well, the authorities get a phone call, I believe, from someone up in Seattle, Washington, and it's Sarah Roberts. So what happened? This crazy little 16-year-old girl named Sarah Roberts staged her own abduction. Now, you'd venture to think, wow, somebody faked their own kidnapping? Like, this must have been pretty significant. Like, what would inspire somebody to do something like that, you know? Like, was she fleeing into some self-done witness protection program? What's going on? No. This girl fakes her own abduction, instigates mass panic in the whole Portland area. She faked her abduction so she could go to a party up in Seattle, Washington that I guess her parents didn't want to let her go to. So she thought by staging her abduction that would allow her to go to the party, and then she'd be able to come back home, and maybe she'd get in a little trouble with her parents, but that would be it. Who does that? Who honestly thinks, I'm gonna stage my own abduction, and thinks that it's going to end well? This girl got into so much trouble. She ended up being held responsible for all the money that was spent looking for her. I mean, not to mention the panic that was going on. Parents all over this area. Another girl vanished. I think she got assigned a boatload of community service too. And on top of that, not that this should be considered that big of a deal. I think this was just the fact that this was 2002. Nowadays, this wouldn't matter to a lot of people, even though it's still technically a crime. Like, within a couple of weeks of coming home, I'm okay, everybody. She got busted, I think, up in Washington, just near Vancouver, like the Camas area, for having a bunch of weed on her, and she got in trouble again. Again, nowadays that wouldn't be that big of a deal, but bet you didn't think the story was gonna end like that. Main parking, yay, we did it, guys. Presuming I don't get abducted in the next 2 to 4 minutes, I will have made it back to the main parking lot, the place where we all thought an abduction happened back in 2002, but didn't. And that will do it. I have missed this place so freaking much. And all that said, until next time, guys, this has been Steve, the amateur historian.